Welcome to Taiwan, an island of breathtaking beauty and endless wonder. From towering mountains and serene lakes to rugged coastlines and vibrant cities, Taiwan is a land where every corner tells a story. Join us on this cinematic journey as we explore the most amazing places to visit, capturing every moment in stunning 4K. Your adventure begins now. Before you decide where Taiwan belongs in your travel list, imagine this: a city where ancient temples breathe incense into the sky, while one of the world's most iconic skyscrapers pierces the clouds just a few streets away. Imagine night markets glowing like constellations on the ground, mountains rising behind glass towers, and a culture that moves at lightning speed without ever losing its soul. This is not just another Asian capital. This is Taipei, the electric heart of Taiwan, and your journey begins here. As dawn breaks, soft golden light spills across the skyline. The silhouette of Taipei 101 stands tall and unmistakable, a bamboo-inspired tower engineered to withstand typhoons and earthquakes. From above, the city stretches outward in waves of rooftops, highways, and distant green hills. Taipei does not feel crowded from the sky. It feels alive, organized chaos, a rhythm that never stops. Down below, morning rituals unfold with quiet grace. Locals gather in parks for Tai Chi, their movements slow and deliberate. Scooters hum to life, weaving through streets with surprising harmony. Small breakfast shops open their shutters, releasing the scent of freshly made scallion pancakes and warm soy milk. In Taipei, the day begins not with noise, but with purpose. Walk toward the Grand Plaza of Chiang Kai-shek Memorial Hall, and you step into a different tempo. The white marble structure rises against a bright blue roof, framed by sweeping staircases and open courtyards. The scale is monumental, yet the atmosphere remains calm. Visitors climb the steps slowly, pausing to look back at the symmetrical gates in the city beyond. Inside, history is preserved in stillness, while outside, life flows endlessly forward. But Taipei's soul is not only found in its landmarks, it lives in its temples. At Longshan Temple, incense smoke curls into the air like whispered prayers. Lanterns glow softly beneath intricately carved dragons and phoenixes. Worshippers bow in quiet devotion, placing offerings of fruit and flowers before ancient deities. The sound of wooden prayer blocks echoes gently. Here, centuries of belief continue uninterrupted, even as skyscrapers rise just blocks away. As afternoon light softens, the city reveals its layers. Trendy districts pulse with creativity. Independent boutiques, art spaces, and cafes spill onto sidewalks. Youth culture blends effortlessly with tradition. You might pass a street mural one moment and a century-old herbal medicine shop the next. Taipei refuses to be defined by a single identity. It evolves constantly, yet honors its roots deeply. Then night falls, and the transformation is electric. The legendary Shilin night market erupts in color and sound. Neon signs flicker. Vendors call out over sizzling grills. Steam rises into the humid air. Skewers crackle, dumplings fry, bubble tea shakes in transparent cups. Crowds move in waves through narrow lanes lined with endless choices. This is more than food. It is theater. It is community. It is Taipei at full volume. From street level, look up again at Taipei 101 glowing against the dark sky. The tower becomes a beacon, visible from almost every corner of the city. It reflects ambition, resilience, and global presence. Yet beneath it, everyday life continues in humble night stalls and family-run shops. This balance is what defines Taipei. Modernity without forgetting tradition. Innovation without losing humanity. For a quieter escape, ascend Elephant Mountain just before sunset. The hike is short but steep, each step bringing the skyline closer into view. At the top, the reward is unforgettable. Taipei 101 stands framed by rolling green hills, the city bathed in golden light. As the sun dips below the horizon, lights begin to shimmer across the landscape. The sky shifts from orange to violet to deep indigo. In that moment, Taipei feels infinite. What makes the city unforgettable is not just its architecture or its food. It is the feeling, the warmth of its people, the seamless blend of ancient faith and futuristic design. The way it invites you in without hesitation. Taipei is the gateway to Taiwan's wonders, but it is also a destination powerful enough to stand on its own. A city where incense smoke meets steel and glass, where quiet prayer meets roaring nightlife, where history stands firm while the future rises boldly above it. And as the camera pulls back one final time, revealing mountains cradling the glowing city below, one truth becomes clear. Taipei is not simply a starting point. It is a statement, a promise that everything you are about to see in Taiwan will exceed expectation. What if I told you that just a few hours from the neon glow of Taipei, the land suddenly splits open into a canyon of marble and mist? A place where cliffs rise like cathedral walls, where rivers cut through stone older than memory, and where every step feels like entering a living masterpiece carved by time itself. This is not a scene from a fantasy film. This is Taroko, and it is one of Taiwan's most breathtaking natural wonders. As the journey begins along the winding highway toward Hualien, the scenery slowly transforms. Urban landscapes give way to thick forest, and forest gives way to towering rock faces. Then, without warning, the entrance to Taroko Gorge appears like a gateway to another world. Massive marble cliffs rise dramatically on both sides, their surfaces streaked with minerals that shimmer under shifting light. The Liwu River rushes below, turquoise and powerful, carving its path through stone with unstoppable force. Standing at the edge of the gorge, you feel something change. The air is cooler here, fresher. The sound of the river echoes between vertical walls that soar hundreds of meters above. It is humbling. Nature does not whisper in Taroko. It speaks boldly. Drive deeper into the gorge, and the road itself becomes an adventure. It curves through narrow tunnels carved directly into rock. One moment you are surrounded by darkness. The next you emerge into blinding daylight, with a waterfall cascading beside you. Every turn reveals a new perspective. Suspended bridges stretch delicately across the canyon, swaying gently as visitors cross. Looking down, the river churns against smooth marble boulders, polished by centuries of movement. At the Eternal Spring Shrine, a temple clings to the mountainside, above a flowing waterfall. Its golden roof contrasts against gray stone and lush greenery. The shrine was built to honor those who lost their lives constructing the Central Cross Island Highway, a reminder that even paradise has a human story woven into its cliffs. Water flows endlessly beneath it, symbolizing resilience and remembrance. Hike along the Shakadang Trail and the experience becomes intimate. The path hugs the river closely, allowing you to see the intricate patterns carved into marble by rushing water. Smooth stones lie beneath the surface like scattered jewels. Butterflies drift across the trail. The sound of footsteps blends with the constant rhythm of the river. Here, time slows. You are not just observing nature, you are walking inside it. Higher still, the Swallow Grotto narrows dramatically. The gorge tightens, cliffs nearly touching overhead. Small holes dot the rock walls, formed by water and wind over countless years. Swallows nest within these openings, darting through the canyon with effortless grace. The scale of the landscape feels almost surreal, as if the earth itself folded and cracked open to reveal its inner strength. But Taroko is not only stone and water, it is also forest and sky. Venture toward the higher elevations and the gorge transitions into misty mountain scenery. Clouds drift between peaks, wrapping them in shifting veils. Lush vegetation blankets slopes in every shade of green. From certain viewpoints, the canyon appears endless, stretching into the horizon like a marble labyrinth. As afternoon light softens, shadows deepen along the cliffs, revealing new textures and colors. The marble reflects hues of silver, gray, and faint gold. The river glows brighter against the darker rock. Photographers wait patiently for the perfect balance of light and shadow, while hikers pause simply to breathe it all in. Taroko is more than a geological wonder. It is a reminder of nature's patience and power. Every curve in the canyon represents thousands of years of shaping. Every waterfall is a constant force of transformation. The landscape teaches humility without saying a word. And as the sun begins to lower behind the peaks, a golden glow settles over the gorge. The rushing river softens in sound, and the towering walls stand tall in quiet dignity. In that moment, surrounded by marble cliffs and endless sky, you understand something profound. Taiwan's beauty is not confined to cities or coastlines. It runs deep within its mountains, etched into stone and carried by rivers. As the camera rises above Taroko one final time, revealing the canyon winding toward the Pacific Ocean, the scale of it all becomes clear. This is not just a scenic stop. It is a masterpiece of earth and time, a place where silence speaks louder than words, and where every visitor leaves with a renewed sense of awe. Imagine standing above a sea of clouds as the first light of dawn sets the horizon on fire. Below you, mist rolls like an endless white ocean. Around you, ancient forests whisper in the cool mountain air. This is the Taiwan few people expect. Not neon skylines, not crowded streets, but a highland world where time slows and nature takes the lead. Welcome to Alishan, a place where sunrise feels sacred and every breath carries the scent of cedar and tea. The journey begins long before the sun appears. In darkness, visitors quietly gather at mountain viewpoints, wrapped in jackets against the crisp air. The sky is still deep blue, almost black. Then, slowly, a faint glow appears at the edge of the world. As the light intensifies, the famous sea of clouds begins to move, swirling between peaks like living silk. When the sun finally breaks through, golden rays spill across layers of mountains, illuminating ancient trees that have stood for centuries. In that moment, silence takes over. Cameras click softly, but most people simply watch, aware they are witnessing something timeless. Alishan is not just a sunrise destination. It is a forest sanctuary. Towering cypress trees rise dramatically, some over 1,000 years old, their trunks thick and textured with age. Walking along wooden pathways beneath these giants feels almost spiritual. Light filters through branches in soft beams, touching moss-covered roots and fern-lined trails. Every step echoes gently in the stillness. Nature here does not rush. It invites patience. One of the most iconic experiences is the historic Alishan Forest Railway. The narrow red train winds slowly through misty woods, climbing steep slopes with quiet determination. As it curves around mountainsides, glimpses of distant valleys appear between trees. The rhythm of the train feels nostalgic, like stepping back into another era. It is not just transportation, it is part of the story. Beyond the forests, Alishan is deeply connected to tea culture. Rolling hills covered in emerald tea plantations stretch gracefully across the landscape. In the morning light, each row of tea plants forms delicate patterns across the slopes. Farmers move carefully between them, continuing traditions passed down through generations. Sit inside a small wooden tea house, and you will understand why Alishan tea is celebrated worldwide. The aroma is fresh and floral. The flavor is smooth, layered, and calming. Drinking tea here is not simply refreshment, it is ritual. As the day unfolds, mountain trails reveal even more beauty. Suspension bridges cross over gentle streams. Wildflowers bloom quietly along pathways. Occasional mountain birds call out from hidden branches. Higher elevations offer panoramic viewpoints where waves of hills roll endlessly into the distance. On clear days, the peaks stand sharp against bright blue skies. On misty afternoons, they fade into soft silhouettes, creating an atmosphere almost dreamlike. But Alishan also carries cultural depth. It is home to indigenous Sioux communities, whose traditions are rooted deeply in the land. Their festivals, music, and craftsmanship reflect a powerful connection to nature. Wooden carvings, vibrant textiles, and ancestral stories preserve identity across generations. The mountains are not just scenery, they are heritage. As evening approaches, the forest shifts once more. Light softens into warm amber tones. Shadows stretch long across wooden walkways. The temperature drops, and a gentle fog begins to roll through the trees. The same mountains that felt grand at sunrise now feel intimate and protective. There is comfort in this rhythm. Sunrise, forest, tea, culture, sunset. A cycle that repeats quietly, day after day. Alishan teaches something subtle but powerful. Beauty does not need to be loud to be unforgettable. It does not demand attention with bright lights or towering buildings. Instead, it unfolds slowly, rewarding those who wake early, walk patiently, and listen closely. As the camera lifts above the mountain ridges one final time, clouds drifting below and forests stretching endlessly outward, one truth becomes clear. Taiwan's magic is not limited to its cities or coastlines. It lives in its highlands, in places where the air is cooler, the light softer, and the connection to nature stronger. Alishan is not just a destination, it is a feeling. A quiet reminder that sometimes the most powerful moments come not from movement, but from stillness. And once you witness a sunrise above a sea of clouds, a part of you will always carry that golden light forward. What if there were a place where mountains embrace a mirror of sky, where temples rise beside still waters, and where every reflection feels like a painting brought to life? A place so calm, so perfectly balanced, that time itself seems to pause just long enough for you to breathe deeper. Welcome to Sun Moon Lake, the shimmering heart of Taiwan, where nature and culture meet in quiet harmony. As dawn approaches, a soft mist floats above the water's surface. The lake is still, almost glass-like, reflecting the surrounding peaks with breathtaking clarity. The eastern side, rounded like the sun, catches the first golden light. The western side, curved like a crescent moon, remains shaded in cool blue tones. This natural contrast is how Sun Moon Lake earned its poetic name. And standing at the edge of its shores, watching daybreak unfold, you understand why it is considered one of Taiwan's greatest treasures. Boats glide slowly across the water, leaving gentle ripples that stretch outward in perfect circles. The silence is powerful but never empty. Birds call from distant trees. Leaves rustle lightly in the morning breeze. The air feels clean, almost sacred. Cyclists begin to move along the scenic lakeside path, widely regarded as one of the most beautiful cycling routes in the world. Each turn reveals a new perspective, sometimes framed by forest, sometimes opening to wide panoramic views of water and mountain together. Rising gracefully above the lake stands Wenwu Temple, its red pillars and golden rooftops glowing under the rising sun. Stone lions guard the entrance, and long staircases lead visitors upward toward peaceful courtyards. Incense smoke drifts gently skyward as worshippers offer quiet prayers. From the temple balcony, the entire lake stretches out below, calm and endless. It is a view that blends spirituality with natural beauty, reminding you that this place is more than scenic. It is meaningful. Further along the shore, the elegant Qian Pagoda rises from the forested hillside. Climb its steps, and the reward is extraordinary. From the top, the lake's full shape becomes visible, divided into its sun and moon halves. The surrounding mountains appear layered, fading softly into the horizon. As wind moves through the trees, the sound is gentle, almost meditative. It is a moment designed for reflection. Sun Moon Lake is also deeply connected to the indigenous Thao people, whose stories and traditions are tied to these waters. Legends speak of deer guiding hunters to discover the lake centuries ago. Cultural performances, handcrafted art, and local cuisine preserve this heritage today. Here, history lives quietly but proudly, woven into daily life around the water. As the afternoon light shifts, the lake transforms once again. The water deepens in color, shifting from turquoise to sapphire. Shadows stretch across the slopes. Small docks extend into the lake, where travelers sit with their feet just above the surface, watching the world slow down. Cafes along the shoreline offer tea harvested from nearby hills, its aroma delicate and soothing. Sipping tea while gazing across the water feels less like tourism and more like meditation. Then comes sunset, and the entire landscape glows. The sky turns shades of orange, pink, and violet, mirrored perfectly below. Boats return to shore. Cyclists complete their final laps. Temple lights begin to flicker softly in the distance. The reflection of Wenwu Temple shimmers gently as the last light fades. For a few brief minutes, everything aligns perfectly. Water, mountain, sky, and silence. When night settles in, stars begin to appear above the dark outline of peaks. The lake becomes a deep, quiet mirror once more. Occasional lights from boats or lakeside buildings twinkle softly, adding warmth to the cool darkness. It is peaceful in a way that feels rare in the modern world. Sun Moon Lake does not overwhelm with drama. It captivates with balance. It offers space to think, to breathe, to reconnect. It is a reminder that beauty can be gentle and still unforgettable. As the camera slowly rises above the calm waters for one final view, capturing the temples, the pagoda, and the mountains embracing the lake, one truth becomes undeniable. Taiwan's magic lies not only in its towering cliffs or vibrant cities, it also lives here, in this quiet sanctuary of reflection and light. And long after you leave its shores, the image of Sun Moon Lake at sunrise and sunset will remain with you like a memory carved softly into the heart. If you think Taiwan is only mountains and temples, prepare to feel the ocean's pulse. Imagine a place where turquoise waves crash against coral cliffs, where tropical winds carry the scent of salt and freedom, and where the southern sun paints everything in shades of gold. This is Kenting, Taiwan's tropical escape, a land where the island meets the sea in its most vibrant and untamed form. As the journey moves south, the landscape shifts dramatically. Mountains soften into rolling hills, palm trees begin to appear, and the air grows warmer with every kilometer. Then, suddenly, the Pacific Ocean stretches into view, vast and endlessly blue. At the edge of this horizon lies Kenting National Park, Taiwan's first national park and one of its most diverse natural treasures. Morning in Kenting begins with light spilling across white sand beaches. Waves roll gently onto the shore, their rhythm steady and calming. Surfers paddle out toward the breaks, silhouettes framed by rising sunlight. The water glows in shades of turquoise and deep sapphire, so clear that coral formations can be seen beneath the surface. Beneath these waters, marine life thrives in vibrant color, making Kenting a paradise for divers and snorkelers alike. Drive along the coastal roads, and dramatic cliffs rise above the ocean, carved by wind and waves over centuries. The Eluambi Lighthouse stands proudly at Taiwan's southernmost tip, its white tower contrasting sharply against the blue sky. From this vantage point, you can see both the Pacific Ocean and the Taiwan Strait meeting in powerful harmony. The wind is strong here, carrying the sound of crashing waves and the feeling of standing at the edge of something vast and infinite. But Kenting is not only coastline. Venture inland, and you'll find rolling grasslands that seem almost unexpected in tropical Taiwan. Wide open spaces stretch beneath expansive skies, where herds of grazing cattle dot the landscape. The scenery feels cinematic, almost like a hidden countryside suspended between mountain and sea. Hiking trails weave through these hills, offering sweeping views of the coastline below. As afternoon approaches, adventure takes center stage. Jet skis skim across the water, kayakers explore hidden coves, and beachgoers relax under umbrellas with the ocean breeze brushing against their skin. There is an energy here that feels youthful and alive. Kenting invites movement, exploration, and spontaneity. When evening arrives, the sky transforms into a masterpiece. The sun dips slowly toward the horizon, turning the sea into molten gold. Clouds catch shades of orange, crimson, and soft pink. Couples walk along the shoreline as waves gently wash over their footprints. The day ends, not with silence, but with a peaceful exhale. And then, as darkness falls, Kenting reveals another side. The vibrant Kenting night market comes alive with lights, music, and laughter. Street vendors serve fresh seafood, tropical fruit, and local specialties. The scent of grilled delicacies fills the air. Travelers and locals gather, sharing stories and flavors under glowing lanterns. It is lively yet relaxed, a perfect reflection of Kenting's personality. Beyond the beaches and markets lies a deeper connection to nature. Kenting National Park protects coral reefs, tropical forests, and unique limestone formations shaped by erosion. In certain areas, dramatic rock formations stand like sculptures along the shore, their shapes crafted by centuries of wind and salt water. Each one tells a story of resilience and transformation. What makes Kenting unforgettable is not just its scenery, it is the feeling of openness, the sense that the horizon has no limits. Here, Taiwan feels different from its northern cities and mountain sanctuaries. It feels freer, warmer, and touched by ocean spirit. As the camera lifts high above the coastline one final time, capturing waves crashing against cliffs and beaches glowing under moonlight, the scale of this southern paradise becomes clear. Kenting is Taiwan's wild heartbeat, a reminder that this island holds not only ancient forests and towering gorges, but also tropical shores where land and sea collide in breathtaking harmony. And long after the sound of waves fades from your ears, the rhythm of Kenting will remain within you, like an echo of salt air and endless blue horizons. There is a side of Taiwan that feels suspended between mountain and memory, a place where narrow stone lanes glow under red lanterns, where the scent of fresh tea drifts through misty air, and where the ocean shimmers far below steep green cliffs. It feels cinematic, almost unreal. But this is not fiction. This is Jufan, a hillside village where time slows down and every corner tells a story. As you ascend the winding mountain road, the Pacific Ocean appears in flashes between curves. The higher you climb, the more dramatic the landscape becomes. Houses seem to cling to the slopes, stacked one above another, their windows reflecting sky and sea. And then you arrive in the heart of Jufin, where stone staircases lead you into a maze of history. At first glance, Jufin feels intimate. Narrow alleyways twist gently uphill, lined with small shops and tea houses. Red lanterns hang overhead, glowing softly even in daylight. The architecture carries echoes of Japanese influence from the early 20th century, when this village flourished during Taiwan's gold mining era. Once a bustling mining town, Yufin was filled with fortune seekers, chasing opportunity in the surrounding hills. Today, the gold may be gone, but the charm remains richer than ever. Walk slowly through the old street, and every sense awakens. Vendors prepare traditional snacks in open kitchens. The aroma of taro balls, peanut ice cream rolls, and freshly brewed oolong tea fills the air. Wooden balconies extend over steep drops, offering glimpses of the coastline far below. You hear laughter, conversation, the soft clatter of teacups. Jufin is alive, but never rushed. Step inside one of the historic tea houses perched along the hillside. Lodge windows frame panoramic views of mountains meeting ocean. Steam rises from delicate porcelain cups as tea is poured with careful precision. Drinking tea here is not hurried. It is deliberate, almost ceremonial. Outside, mist drifts slowly through the valley, softening the outlines of distant peaks. Inside, warmth and quiet conversation create a sense of timeless comfort. As afternoon fades into evening, Jufin transforms. Lanterns glow brighter against darkening skies. The village takes on a golden hue, as if illuminated from within. Shadows stretch across stone pathways. The Pacific Ocean below reflects the final colors of sunset, fading from orange to deep indigo. In this moment, Jufin feels suspended between earth and sky. Beyond its beauty, Jufin carries emotional depth. The gold mining industry once shaped the lives of thousands here, and remnants of that era still linger. Abandoned mining tunnels and preserved historical buildings tell stories of ambition, hardship, and community. It is a place where history is not displayed behind glass. It is woven into the landscape itself. Just a short distance away lies the dramatic coastline of northeastern Taiwan. Jagged rock formations rise from the sea, sculpted by centuries of wind and waves. From elevated viewpoints above Jufin, the contrast between rugged cliffs and endless ocean is breathtaking. Clouds roll in from the Pacific, wrapping the mountains in shifting layers of fog. The scenery feels cinematic, almost dreamlike. Yet what makes Jufin unforgettable is not only its views or history, it is the atmosphere. The way light reflects off red lanterns in the rain, the quiet hum of conversation inside tea houses, the feeling of standing on a narrow stairway as mist moves past your shoulders. It invites reflection. As night settles fully, the village glows like a constellation scattered across the hillside. Lights from windows and lanterns shimmer against the dark outline of mountains. The ocean becomes a deep, silent presence below. Visitors pause to capture photographs, but many simply stand still, absorbing the scene. Yufin reminds you that Taiwan is not just a land of dramatic gorges or tropical beaches. It is also a place of hidden villages, where stories linger in every stone. It is where culture, history, and landscape intertwine seamlessly. As the camera slowly rises above the lantern-lit rooftops, revealing the vast Pacific stretching into darkness, one truth becomes clear. Jufin is not just a scenic stop. It is a feeling, a blend of nostalgia, beauty, and quiet wonder that stays with you long after you leave its winding streets. And in that glow of red lanterns against misty mountains, you understand something powerful. Taiwan's magic is found not only in grand landmarks, but in intimate corners, where light, history, and human warmth come together in perfect harmony. What if you could drive along a road where mountains rise sharply on one side, and the vast Pacific Ocean crashes against cliffs on the other? A place where every curve reveals a new masterpiece of wind, water, and stone. Taiwan's East Coast is not simply a destination. It is a journey, a stretch of raw, untamed beauty, where nature feels powerful, free, and endlessly alive. As the morning sun climbs over the horizon, light spills across the dramatic shoreline of eastern Taiwan. The highway hugs the edge of towering cliffs, offering uninterrupted views of deep blue water stretching toward infinity. Waves crash rhythmically against jagged rock formations below, sending white spray high in air. The sound is constant, steady, grounding. This is Taiwan at its wildest. Driving along the Suhua Highway, one of the island's most scenic routes, feels cinematic from the very first kilometer. Sheer cliffs drop dramatically into the Pacific. Tunnels cut directly through solid rock. Bridges arc gracefully over deep ravines. Every turn opens to a new perspective, each more breathtaking than the last. It is impossible not to slow down, to pause at viewpoints, to let the scale of the landscape sink in. Along this coastline lies the striking beauty of Qingshui Cliffs. Here, marble and rock rise almost vertically from the sea, forming one of Taiwan's most iconic natural sights. The cliffs glow in shades of gray and green, contrasting sharply with the turquoise water below. From above, the ocean looks calm and endless. From below, it feels powerful and unstoppable. The meeting of land and sea here is dramatic, almost theatrical. Further south, the landscape softens into wide valleys framed by mountains on one side and ocean on the other. Rice fields stretch toward the horizon, shimmering under sunlight. Small fishing villages dot the coastline, their colorful boats resting quietly in harbors. Life here moves at a slower rhythm, shaped by tides and seasons. Fishermen prepare their nets. Children ride bicycles along narrow roads. The simplicity feels grounding. The East Coast is also home to indigenous communities whose traditions remain deeply connected to the land and sea. Their music, art, and festivals reflect a relationship with nature that is both respectful and celebratory. Wooden carvings, woven textiles, and rhythmic songs tell stories passed down for generations. This region is not only scenic, it is cultural. It carries identity rooted in mountains and waves. As afternoon light shifts, the ocean transforms into deeper shades of blue. Surfers gather at hidden beaches, waiting for the perfect swell. Paragliders soar above green hills, drifting effortlessly with coastal winds. The East Coast invites adventure, but it also invites stillness. There are moments when you simply stand at a cliff's edge, watching waves crash below, and feel the vastness of it all. At Sangshiantai, a unique arched bridge stretches across the sea toward a small offshore island. The bridge curves like a dragon's spine, leading visitors toward rugged rock formations shaped by erosion. Standing at the far end, surrounded by open ocean, you feel suspended between sky and water. The horizon seems endless. As sunset approaches, the coastline becomes golden. Cliffs glow warmly, waves reflect streaks of orange and pink, and the sky shifts slowly into deeper tones. The road ahead glimmers under fading light. There is something deeply calming about watching the day end beside the sea. The world feels wide, open, infinite. When night falls, the East Coast reveals another gift. With minimal city lights, the stars shine brilliantly overhead. The Milky Way stretches across the sky like a silver river. The sound of waves continues in the darkness, steady and eternal. It is a reminder that nature does not sleep. It simply changes its form. Taiwan's East Coast is not about towering skyscrapers or busy streets. It is about scale, space, freedom. It is about standing on a cliff and feeling both small and connected at the same time. As the camera rises high above the winding coastal highway one final time, capturing mountains, ocean, and the ribbon of road tying them together, one truth becomes undeniable. This stretch of Taiwan is a masterpiece, carved by wind and wave, a place where nature speaks loudly and clearly. And long after the journey ends, the rhythm of crashing waves and the sight of endless blue horizons will stay with you, calling you back to the edge of the island where land meets the infinite sea. Taiwan is an island of contrasts. You have seen mountains that rise like ancient cathedrals, lakes that reflect the sky with perfect symmetry, and coasts where the Pacific crashes dramatically against cliffs. But Taiwan is also a land where cities pulse with life, blending history, modernity, and culture in a way that is uniquely mesmerizing. And in the heart of this urban tapestry lies Taichung, a city that surprises with creativity, innovation, and quiet beauty. Arrive in Taichung in the early morning, when soft light bathes tree-lined streets and parks awaken with gentle movement. Bicycles glide along dedicated paths, and joggers greet the day with calm determination. The air carries a faint scent of fresh pastries from local bakeries, mingling with the subtle aroma of coffee. This is a city that balances activity and tranquility seamlessly. The first stop is the National Taichung Theater, a masterpiece of modern architecture designed to challenge traditional perceptions of space. Its curves and organic forms rise like abstract mountains of concrete, yet light filters through enormous openings in ways that feel delicate, almost poetic. Walking through the theater's flowing interior is like moving through a sculpture. Each corner, each arch, each hallway invites exploration. It is a building that doesn't just house performances, it performs itself. Next, wander through Taichung's vibrant art districts. The calligraphy greenway stretches for kilometers, blending green space, public art installations, and boutique cafes. Sculptures emerge from gardens, murals cover walls in vibrant hues, and interactive art draws visitors into playful engagement. This is a city where creativity is not confined to galleries. It lives in streets, parks, and the very air you breathe. Lunch offers a glimpse into the culinary innovation Taichung is famous for. Street vendors prepare specialty snacks alongside high-end restaurants serving fusion cuisine. Bubble tea, Taiwan's iconic export, has some of its most imaginative forms here. Cafes serve fruit teas with hand-cut ice, cheese, foam drinks, and carefully brewed artisanal blend. Eating in Taichung is more than sustenance. It is an experience that engages all the senses. For a cultural shift, step into the historic district of Taichung. Here, narrow alleyways wind between colonial-era buildings, temples, and traditional markets. Confucius Temple, Taichung stands gracefully, its serene courtyards inviting quiet reflection. The incense lingers in the air, and carved wooden doors tell stories of generations that have walked these streets. The contrast between history and modernity is striking. Temples face bustling streets filled with scooters and cafes, creating a dynamic tension that feels both alive and respectful. Afternoon brings a different energy. The Rainbow Village, a neighborhood transformed by one man's colorful murals, bursts into vivid life. Every wall, every floor, every stair is painted in bright, whimsical patterns. Walking through the village feels like stepping into a living painting. Photography enthusiasts and casual visitors alike pause at every corner, drawn by the surreal vibrancy of human creativity. Nature is never far in Taichung. The city is surrounded by green hills, and a short drive leads to the scenic Gaomei wetlands. Here, tidal flats stretch endlessly, dotted with traditional windmills and tall grasses swaying in coastal winds. Sunset at Gaomei is transformative. The sky ignites in golds, pinks, and purples, mirrored in shallow waters. Flocks of birds wheel gracefully across the horizon, completing a scene that is both serene and awe-inspiring. As evening descends, the city shifts yet again. Night markets spring to life with neon lights, sizzling walks, and the constant hum of conversation. Fengjia Night Market, one of Taiwan's largest, overflows with sights and sounds. Skewers, dumplings, stinky tofu, fried chicken. Each stall offers a unique sensory encounter. Locals and tourists move together in waves, creating a living, breathing tapestry of energy and flavor. Taichung is more than a stopover city. It is a place where modern design meets historical reverence, where creativity thrives on the streets as much as in galleries, where food, art, and nature intertwine seamlessly. It is a city of discovery, rewarding those willing to slow down and look closely. As the camera rises above Taichung one final time, capturing the blend of cityscape, green hills, and distant horizon, one thing becomes clear. Taiwan's heart is not only in its mountains or oceans. It beats here, in the spaces where tradition meets innovation, and life moves with rhythm, color, and vitality. And when night fully falls, the lights of Taichung shimmer across streets and rivers, reminding us that Taiwan is a land where urban beauty and natural wonder coexist effortlessly, waiting for every traveler to witness its layered, cinematic soul. Taiwan is an island of contrasts, where mountains rise sharply from the earth, where coasts meet turbulent seas, and where urban energy pulses alongside centuries of tradition. And in the southwest lies a city that embodies history, culture, and heritage like nowhere else. Tainan, Taiwan's oldest city, often called the City of 1,000 Temples. Here, past and present coexist in perfect harmony, inviting visitors to step into a world where every street, every building, and every aroma tells a story. Arrive in Tainan in the early morning, and notice the stillness. Unlike Taiwan's northern metropolises, Tainan moves at a slower pace, as if time itself has chosen to linger here. Street vendors begin setting up their stalls, the scent of freshly fried dough and rice cakes mixing with incense smoke drifting from nearby temples. Cyclists and pedestrians share quiet streets lined with colonial-era buildings, creating a feeling both historic and alive. Begin your journey at Chikan Tower, a centuries-old fortress built by the Dutch during their 17th century occupation. Its red brick walls rise gracefully amidst tropical gardens, reflecting in the surrounding moats. The site is rich with history. Plaques and artifacts tell of battles, governance, and cultural exchanges between East and West. Climb the steps and stand atop the tower, looking out over Tainan's low skyline, a mixture of tiled rooftops and modern structures. History feels tangible here, present in every stone. From Chikan Tower, wander deeper into the city streets. Tainan is dotted with over 1,000 temples, each more intricate than the last. The Confucius Temple, Tainan, stands out with its serene courtyards and elegantly carved roofs. Devotees bow in quiet reverence, incense curling into the warm morning air. The temple is more than a religious site. It is a cultural hub where music, poetry, and learning have thrived for centuries. Lunch in Tainan is a sensory journey. Known as the culinary capital of Taiwan, the city offers flavors that are both bold and traditional. Small vendors prepare coffin bread, crispy fried loaves, hollowed out and filled with savory ingredients. Shrimp rolls, oyster omelets, and braised pork rice fill bustling food stalls. The taste of Tainan is history you can eat, combining local ingredients with recipes passed down through generations. Every bite carries a story. Afternoon brings exploration beyond the city's center. The Anping district, home to Anping Fort, reveals a coastal history shaped by trade and defense. The fortress, built during Dutch colonization, overlooks the Taiwan Strait, a reminder of centuries when this port was a hub of commerce and conflict. Walk along its walls and imagine the ships arriving from distant lands, carrying goods, culture, and influence. Surrounding streets are lined with old warehouses converted into cafes, art galleries, and shops selling local handicrafts. Tainan is also a city of festivals. If you arrive during one of its many temple festivals, the streets come alive with color, music, and ritual. Dragon dances weave through alleys, firecrackers crackle in rhythm, and lanterns glow in the evening sky. These celebrations are not performances for tourists. They are living traditions, connecting communities to ancestors and faith in ways that have endured centuries. As afternoon light softens, visit the eternal Golden Castle along the coast. This 19th century fortress, with its thick stone walls and cannon emplacements, offers panoramic views of the ocean. Waves crash against the rocky shore, and the wind carries the scent of salt and freedom. Standing here, history blends seamlessly with nature, reminding visitors that Taiwan's story is not only written in cities, but also along its coastline. As evening approaches, Tainan transforms once more. Night markets spring to life with neon signs and the aroma of sizzling street food. Tainan Flower Night Market overflows with energy. Locals gather with friends and families, sampling skewers, fried delicacies, and traditional desserts. The streets are alive with laughter, chatter, and the constant rhythm of movement. It is a perfect blend of tradition and modernity, an urban heartbeat grounded in culture. What makes Tainan unforgettable is not a single landmark or flavor. It is the layering of centuries into every corner. It is walking past a temple built hundreds of years ago and smelling a snack cooked using the same recipe your great-grandparents knew. It is understanding that history is alive here, carried in daily life, streets, and rituals. As the camera lifts above the city one final time, capturing tiled rooftops, glowing temples, and distant coastal waters, one truth becomes clear. Tainan is more than a city. It is a living museum of Taiwan's heritage, a place where past and present converse seamlessly. And as night fully settles, lanterns flicker across courtyards, incense smoke rises into the stars, and the streets hum with life. Tainan reminds every traveler that Taiwan is not only an island of natural wonders and modern innovation, it is also a place where culture, history, and human connection remain at the very heart of its identity. Taiwan's story would be incomplete without the island's northern coast, where jagged cliffs meet the restless Pacific, and where history, culture, and natural beauty converge in a spectacle both dramatic and serene. This is the world of the North Coast and Yehliu Geopark, a place where stone, wind, and water have collaborated for millennia to create landscapes that seem almost otherworldly. As dawn breaks, golden light spills across the rugged coastline. Waves crash rhythmically against weathered cliffs, sending spray high into the air. The air is crisp with the scent of sea salt, carrying both freshness and the wildness of the open ocean. The first hint of sunlight illuminates the rock formations that make Yehliu famous, each one shaped by erosion, wind, and time into forms so fantastical they seem sculpted by imagination itself. The Queen's Head, Yehliu's most iconic formation, rises delicately from the cliff, her neck slender yet enduring against the forces of nature. Visitors pause to photograph her silhouette against the sea, marveling at the balance between fragility and strength. Nearby, other stones take on strange shapes: mushrooms, candles, elephants, and even turtles frozen in stone. Walking along the winding pathways, it becomes clear that this is not simply a park. It is a gallery curated by Earth herself. Beyond Yehliu, the northern coast unfolds into a dramatic coastline of cliffs, coves, and headlands. Coastal roads hug the edge of mountains, revealing sweeping views of blue ocean and rocky inlets. Occasional beaches appear like hidden gems, their sands golden under the morning sun. The waves here are powerful, constantly shaping the land, reminding visitors that nature is both beautiful and unstoppable. For history and culture, the nearby town of Tamsui offers a completely different perspective. Located where the Tamsui River meets the sea, this old port town carries echoes of Taiwan's colonial past. Stroll along the riverside promenade as the sun reflects on the water. Cafes and tea houses spill onto the walkway, offering local delicacies and panoramic views. The historic Fort San Domingo rises above the town, a reminder of Spanish and Dutch influence centuries ago. Its walls overlook the river and the sea beyond, connecting the past to the present in a quiet, commanding way. As the day progresses, the North Coast's unique geography invites exploration. Hiking trails wind through coastal hills, offering vantage points to see the Pacific stretching endlessly toward the horizon. Small fishing villages dot the coastline, their colorful boats bobbing gently in harbors. Locals haul nets and prepare fresh seafood, carrying on traditions that have endured for generations. These moments of daily life contrast with the grandeur of cliffs and rock formations, grounding the region in human presence. The coastline is also home to dramatic geological formations beyond Yehliu. Cape Fugui, Taiwan's northernmost point, features jagged cliffs and a lighthouse standing tall against ocean winds. Standing here, the sea seems infinite, and the horizon stretches wider than imagination. Birdsong carries across the cliffs, and waves crash below in an eternal rhythm. It is a place to pause, to breathe, and to appreciate the scale of the natural world. Afternoon light softens the landscape, turning cliffs into hues of gold and bronze. The Queen's Head and surrounding formations cast long shadows across the rocky terrain. The ocean reflects sunlight in sparkling patterns, almost as if the water itself were alive. Photographers, hikers, and travelers alike pause to capture the scene, but it is a place best experienced with quiet reverence, letting the senses absorb the textures, sounds, and movement of wind and water. As evening approaches, Tamsui transforms into a lively evening destination. Its night market comes alive with neon lights and sizzling aromas. Stalls offer everything from fried squid, sweet potato balls, stinky tofu, to grilled corn. Locals and travelers intermingle, sampling flavors unique to the region. Laughter and conversation mingle with the sound of the river, creating a vibrant yet relaxed atmosphere. The energy of human life here contrasts beautifully with the timeless power of cliffs and ocean. Nightfall brings a final transformation. Lighthouses illuminate the headlands, waves shimmer in moonlight, and stars appear over the northern sky. The sound of the ocean becomes a steady, hypnotic rhythm, and the coastline takes on a quiet majesty. Every formation, every cliff, every ripple of water feels part of a grander story that has unfolded for millions of years. Taiwan's North Coast is not simply scenic, it is cinematic, cultural, historical, and alive. It is a place where natural forces have shaped the land into forms beyond imagination, where human history intersects seamlessly with geological time, and where every visitor leaves with a sense of awe that cannot be captured in photographs alone. As the camera rises high above the cliffs one final time, revealing the vast ocean, jagged rocks, and distant towns, one truth becomes clear. Taiwan is an island of endless wonders, from mountains to lakes, tropical beaches to historic cities, and now to this northern coastline. Every corner tells a story, and every moment inspires reverence. And as night envelopes the land, the waves continue their eternal rhythm, whispering a promise. Taiwan's magic endures, vast and timeless, waiting for those willing to explore every corner of its cinematic beauty. Imagine a coastline where the wind carries both the salt of the ocean and the whispers of history. Taiwan's northern shore is a place where jagged cliffs meet endless blue waters, where weathered stones rise like sculptures, and where every step along the rocky paths feels like walking inside a masterpiece carved by nature itself. This is the North Coast and Yehliu Geopark, a land where the earth tells stories older than memory, and where human presence humbly intersects with the raw power of wind, water, and time. As morning begins, sunlight spills over the horizon, illuminating the complex textures of Yehliu's rock formations. The Queen's Head stands elegantly, slender yet resilient, a symbol of patience and endurance against the relentless forces of nature. Around it, countless other stones form fantastical shapes: mushrooms, candles, turtles, and human-like figures frozen in rock, each telling a unique story shaped by millennia of wind and waves. Walking among them, it feels less like sightseeing and more like stepping into a natural gallery curated by the earth itself. The coastal road stretches alongside cliffs that rise sharply from the Pacific Ocean. From every viewpoint, the ocean sparkles in deep azure, foaming at the edges where waves crash against the rocky shoreline. In the distance, small fishing villages cling to the coast, their colorful boats gently swaying in the tide. Life here moves in rhythm with the ocean, calm yet vibrant, persistent yet ever-changing. Heading further along the northern coastline, Cape Fuji, Taiwan's northernmost point, comes into view. Its lighthouse stands sentinel over the waves, a beacon for sailors and a symbol of guidance and endurance. From this cliff, the Pacific extends endlessly, its energy palpable. Waves pound the shore relentlessly, their roar mixing with the cry of seabirds, creating a symphony of nature's power. Standing here, one feels both small and deeply connected to the timeless rhythm of the earth. Nearby, the dramatic Yehliu coastline continues to reveal wonders. Erosion has sculpted sharp ridges, natural arches, and tide pools teeming with marine life. Look closely, and tiny crabs scuttle along the rocks, while colorful fish dart beneath the surface. It is a reminder that this landscape is not static. It is alive, constantly changing with the tide and the wind, shaped by forces far greater than human hands. The North Coast is not only natural but also deeply cultural. Tamsui, a historic port town along the same coast, offers a glimpse into Taiwan's colonial past. Streets lined with heritage buildings tell stories of Spanish, Dutch, and Qing influences. Forts such as Fort San Domingo overlook the river and sea, standing as silent witnesses to centuries of trade, conflict, and cultural exchange. Walking through the old streets, you hear echoes of merchants, sailors, and residents whose lives have shaped the character of the region. Afternoon light transforms the landscape. The sun casts golden hues across cliffs, highlighting textures in rock that were barely visible before. Shadows stretch across natural formations, creating dramatic contrasts between light and dark. The waves below reflect the sunlight, glimmering like a field of liquid jewels. Photographers and travelers pause, not merely to capture images, but to absorb the scale, detail, and energy of the coastline. As evening approaches, the region shifts into a different kind of magic. Sunset colors paint the sky in fiery oranges, soft pinks, and deep purples. Yehliu's rock formations glow with warmth, casting long shadows across tidal pools. In Tamsui, the river reflects the fading light, and lanterns begin to flicker on streets and in local markets. The aroma of street food, grilled seafood, sweet pastries, and local delicacies mixes with the cool evening air. There is vibrancy and calm, coexisting beautifully along this northern edge of Taiwan. Nightfall brings clarity. With minimal light pollution, the stars shine brilliantly over the Pacific. Waves crash softly against the cliffs, a steady heartbeat beneath a canopy of constellations. Lighthouses flicker in the distance, guiding both fishermen and wanderers alike. In this quiet, one understands the enduring power of nature, the resilience of human culture, and the balance that exists when both are respected. Taiwan's North Coast is cinematic in every sense. It is a place where geological history, oceanic power, and cultural legacy collide in breathtaking harmony. From the Queen's Head to Cape Fugi, from tide pools to historic ports, it is a coastline that inspires reverence, curiosity, and awe. As the camera slowly rises above cliffs, capturing waves crashing below and the horizon stretching endlessly, one truth becomes undeniable. Taiwan's magic is vast, layered, and eternal. It is a land where mountains, oceans, forests, cities, and coasts each tell a story, inviting travelers to witness its cinematic beauty and to feel both humbled and inspired by the sheer scale and depth of the island's wonders. Taiwan's northern coast is a place where land, sea, and sky converge in a spectacle that feels almost otherworldly. Here, cliffs rise sharply from the restless Pacific Ocean, waves crash against jagged rocks with relentless rhythm, and wind sweeps across the landscape, shaping both earth and experience. Yehliu Geopark and the surrounding North Coast are more than scenic destinations. They are a living gallery where each formation tells a story of time, resilience, and the astonishing artistry of nature. The day begins as dawn's first light illuminates the coastline. Shadows retreat, revealing the intricate textures of rocks carved over millennia. The Queen's Head, Yehliu's most famous formation, stands poised against the horizon. Her slender neck and rounded head appear impossibly delicate, yet she endures weathering centuries of wind, rain, and salt spray. Around her, countless other stones emerge from the earth: mushrooms, candles, turtles, and abstract shapes, each uniquely sculpted by the patient hands of time. Walking among them, you feel like a guest in a world both ancient and alive. Beyond Yehliu, the North Coast stretches dramatically, a ribbon of cliffs, bays, and inlets sculpted by wind and wave. Coastal roads wind along the edge of cliffs, offering panoramic views of the Pacific. The ocean shimmers in deep sapphire, the waves rolling rhythmically against the jagged rocks below. Occasional coves reveal hidden beaches, golden sand resting beneath cliffs. Small fishing villages nestle into the shoreline, their boats bobbing gently in quiet harbors. Life here is measured by the pulse of the tides, calm yet vibrant. Heading toward Cape Fugi, Taiwan's northernmost point, a lighthouse rises against the sky, standing sentinel over the relentless waves. From this vantage, the Pacific stretches endlessly, its horizon vast and uninterrupted. Standing atop the cliff, you feel the enormity of the natural world. Seabirds wheel gracefully, riding wind currents above the cliffs, while the spray of waves reaches up like nature's applause. It is a place of perspective, a reminder of both human humility and the grandeur of the earth. The North Coast is also deeply intertwined with history. Tamsui, once a bustling port town, sits along the river where it meets the sea. Fort San Domingo rises above the waterfront, a reminder of Spanish and Dutch colonization and centuries of trade. Its stone walls overlook both river and ocean, silent witnesses to countless arrivals and departures. Walking through Tamsui's streets, lined with heritage buildings and traditional markets, you feel history breathing through every brick, every shuttered window, every cobblestone. Afternoon light transforms the region. Sunlight spills across the cliffs, casting golds and bronzes across textured rock. The Queen's Head and surrounding formations glow warmly, shadows stretching across the uneven ground. The ocean sparkles, reflecting light in patterns that seem to dance across the waves. Visitors pause at viewpoints, some photographing, some simply absorbing the scale and beauty, while the wind carries a faint, salty scent that invigorates the senses. As the sun begins to set, the North Coast enters its most magical phase. The sky ignites with shades of orange, pink, and violet, mirrored in the calm waters of coves and tide pools. Yehliu's formations take on a golden glow, their shadows deepening, highlighting the delicate curves and dramatic angles. Tamsui's riverside lights begin to twinkle, blending the vibrancy of human activity with the timeless rhythm of nature. Street vendors prepare local delicacies, the scent of grilled seafood and sweet pastries mingling with the cool evening breeze. Laughter and conversation rise softly, blending with the distant roar of the ocean. Nightfall brings clarity and serenity. With minimal light pollution, stars scatter across the northern sky, reflecting faintly in the ocean below. Waves continue their steady rhythm, crashing against cliffs, shaping the land in slow but persistent motion. Lighthouses flicker in the distance, guiding fishermen, travelers, and dreamers alike. In this quiet, one senses the enduring dialogue between nature and humanity, a balance maintained across centuries. The North Coast is cinematic in every sense. It is a place where geological history, oceanic power, and cultural legacy converge in breathtaking harmony. From Yehliu's iconic stones to Cape Fugi's cliffs, from hidden beaches to historic ports, the region invites both awe and reflection. Walking along the pathways, feeling the wind, hearing the waves, seeing the infinite horizon, you realize that this is not just sightseeing, it is an immersive experience, a dialogue with time itself. As the camera lifts high above cliffs and ocean, revealing winding roads, rocky headlands, and distant lights of Tamsui, one truth becomes clear. Taiwan is an island of endless wonders, and its northern coast is a crown jewel. Every wave, every stone, every whisper of wind is part of a story written over millennia. And as night fully settles, the rhythm of the ocean continues, eternal and hypnotic, whispering that Taiwan's magic is not only in its mountains, lakes, and cities, but in the edges where land meets sea, where history meets nature, and where the cinematic beauty of the island lingers long after you leave. Taiwan's northern coast is a place where the raw power of nature meets the subtle touch of history, creating landscapes that feel timeless and cinematic. Here, jagged cliffs rise abruptly from the restless Pacific Ocean, waves crash with endless rhythm, and wind sculpts every rock, crevice, and shoreline. The North Coast, with Yehliu Geopark as its crown jewel, is more than a scenic destination. It is a canvas painted over millennia by forces far greater than humanity, yet it remains intertwined with human presence, culture, and history. The day begins with the gentle light of dawn brushing over the cliffs. Mist rises from the ocean, curling around jagged rocks and tide pools, revealing shapes that seem both familiar and fantastical. The Queen's Head, Yehliu's most famous formation, emerges in the soft morning glow. Her slender neck and rounded head appear impossibly delicate, yet she endures, a testament to patience and resilience against the ceaseless erosion of wind and sea. Around her, a gallery of rock formations, mushrooms, candles, turtles, and abstract shapes spark the imagination, reminding visitors that nature itself is the ultimate sculptor. Winding roads along the coast offer dramatic views at every turn. Cliffs drop steeply into the ocean, waves rolling relentlessly against the base. Hidden coves and small beaches emerge unexpectedly, golden sands tucked beneath towering rocks. Fishing villages cling to the shoreline, their colorful boats resting gently in harbors as the tide moves in and out. Life here moves in rhythm, with nature measured, patient, and intertwined with the pulse of the ocean. A short journey inland brings you to Tamsui, a historic port town that has witnessed centuries of trade, cultural exchange, and colonial influence. Fort San Domingo stands prominently, overlooking both the Tamsui River and the Pacific Ocean beyond. Built during European colonial times, its stone walls tell stories of conquest, commerce, and human perseverance. Walking through Tamsui streets, lined with heritage buildings and lively markets, one senses the layers of history embedded in every corner, from ancient shop signs to colonial architecture, each telling a fragment of Taiwan's rich narrative. Afternoon brings the coast to life with movement and texture. Sunlight paints the cliffs in warm golds and bronzes, highlighting the intricate lines of erosion etched into each rock. Tide pools shimmer with marine life, and the sound of waves provides a constant, hypnotic rhythm. Visitors explore trails along the shoreline, some photographing, others simply absorbing the scene, while seabirds wheel overhead, riding coastal winds effortlessly. Every step feels like a dialogue with the land, a conversation between human curiosity and geological time. The North Coast is also a place of adventure. Kayakers navigate hidden coves, guided by the movement of tides and the patterns of waves. Hikers ascend cliffside paths to reach panoramic viewpoints, each more breathtaking than the last. Cyclists follow coastal roads that twist along cliffs, the wind at their backs and the ocean stretching infinitely beside them. This is a land that invites exploration, yet demands respect, a reminder that beauty and danger often coexist in perfect balance. As sunset approaches, The coastline transforms into a palette of colors. Yehliu's formations glow in amber and rose, shadows stretching across jagged edges, highlighting the surreal shapes of stone. The Pacific reflects every hue of the sky, rippling with fiery tones as the sun dips toward the horizon. In Tamsui, riverside lights flicker on, blending with the aroma of street food. Grilled seafood, sweet pastries, and local specialties fill the air. The vibrant energy of human life contrasts beautifully with the eternal rhythm of waves, creating a harmony that is both sensory and spiritual. Nightfall reveals the North Coast in a new light. With minimal urban illumination, the stars shine brilliantly overhead, mirrored faintly by the ocean below. Lighthouses blink in the distance, guiding travelers and fishermen alike, a reminder of the enduring relationship between humanity and nature. The sound of waves crashing against cliffs continues, constant and hypnotic, carrying the whispers of centuries past. The North Coast is cinematic in every sense. It is where geological history, oceanic force, and human culture converge seamlessly. Yehliu's iconic formations, Cape Fugi's cliffs, hidden beaches, and historic ports combine to create a landscape that inspires awe, humility, and reflection. Every stone, every wave, and every gust of wind tells a story far greater than any single traveler, yet one that touches all who visit. As the camera rises high above the cliffs and coastline, revealing winding roads, distant lights, and endless horizons, one undeniable truth emerges. Taiwan's northern coast is a masterpiece of nature and culture, a place where every moment feels larger than life, yet intimately connected to human experience. And as night fully envelopes the land, the steady pulse of the ocean continues, reminding every visitor that Taiwan's magic is eternal, an island of cinematic beauty, adventure, history, and wonder, waiting to be discovered again and again. The northern coast of Taiwan is a place where the raw forces of nature meet centuries of human history, creating landscapes that feel both timeless and cinematic. Here, jagged cliffs rise sharply from the restless Pacific Ocean. Waves crash relentlessly against rock, and winds sculpt the land into shapes that seem almost otherworldly. Yehliu Geopark, Cape Fugi, and the surrounding coastline are more than scenic destinations. They are living testimonies to the enduring power of time, wind, and water, where each stone and wave tells a story of millennia, and every human step leaves a trace in a landscape shaped by forces far greater than ourselves. As dawn breaks, golden light spills over jagged cliffs and tidal pools, illuminating Yehliu's fantastical formations. The queen's head emerges first, poised elegantly against the horizon. Her delicate yet enduring neck rises from the cliff, sculpted over centuries by wind and sea. Around her, mushroom rocks, candle rocks, and other whimsical formations create a landscape that seems both natural and fantastical, inviting visitors to wander in awe. Each rock, each crevice, each curve tells a story of patient erosion, relentless tides, and the ceaseless artistry of the earth. Coastal roads wind along the edge of cliffs, revealing vistas where the ocean stretches endlessly. Hidden coves and golden sand beaches appear unexpectedly, tucked beneath sheer cliffs. Small fishing villages cling to the shoreline, their boats gently bobbing in the harbor, evidence of human life coexisting with nature's grandeur. Life here moves at the rhythm of the tides. Fishermen mend nets, families stroll along the water, and the ocean's pulse guides the tempo of daily existence. Further along the coast, Cape Fugi, Taiwan's northernmost point, rises dramatically above the sea. Its lighthouse stands as a sentinel, a symbol of guidance, resilience, and history. From the cliffs, the Pacific Ocean stretches infinitely, its waves rolling with a hypnotic rhythm. The wind carries the faint scent of salt, invigorating the senses and reminding travelers of the raw power of nature. Seabirds wheel effortlessly above the cliffs, their calls echoing against rock walls, creating a natural symphony that blends seamlessly with the ocean's roar. Tamsui, a historic port town along the coast, offers a contrasting experience. Its colonial-era architecture, heritage streets, and lively markets reflect centuries of trade, cultural exchange, and human ingenuity. Fort San Domingo overlooks the town and river, a sentinel witnessing the passage of time. Walking through Tamsui, the past feels tangible. Ancient shopfronts, cobblestone streets, and historic buildings invite exploration, while the aroma of local delicacies, grilled seafood, sweet pastries, and street snacks engages the senses in a rich cultural dialogue. Afternoon light bathes the coastline in warm gold and bronze tones. Shadows stretch across rocks and tidal pools, emphasizing the intricate textures carved by wind and water. The waves shimmer as they roll in, reflecting sunlight in patterns that dance across the surface. Travelers pause at viewpoints to take photographs, to breathe, and to absorb the scale of the cliffs and ocean. It is an experience both humbling and exhilarating, a reminder of humanity's small place in the vastness of the natural world. As evening descends, the North Coast enters its most magical phase. The sky ignites with hues of orange, pink, and purple, reflected across ocean surfaces and tidal pools. Yehliu's formations glow under the warm light, their shadows deepening to accentuate their surreal forms. In Tamsui, riverside lights flicker on, blending with the aromas of street food and the lively chatter of locals and travelers. Lanterns cast soft glows over historic buildings, creating a perfect harmony of human culture and natural beauty. Night brings a quiet majesty. With minimal light pollution, stars shine brilliantly above, mirrored faintly in the waters below. Lighthouses blink steadily in the distance, guiding fishermen, travelers, and dreamers alike. Waves crash against cliffs with hypnotic persistence, and the wind whispers through rocks and trees, carrying the sound of centuries past. Standing on the cliffs, one feels the scale of both time and nature, an overwhelming sense of connection to something far greater than oneself. Taiwan's North Coast is cinematic, cultural, historical, and alive. From Yehliu's whimsical formations to Cape Fugui's dramatic cliffs, from hidden beaches to Tamsui's heritage streets, it is a landscape that inspires awe, reflection, and wonder. Walking along its paths, feeling the wind, hearing the ocean, and observing the endless horizon, one realizes that this is not just sightseeing. It is an immersive dialogue with nature, history, and the enduring rhythms of the earth. As the camera rises high above cliffs and coastline, revealing winding roads, glowing city lights in Tamsui, and the infinite Pacific beyond, one truth becomes unmistakable. Taiwan's magic is vast, layered, and eternal. It is a land where mountains, oceans, forests, city, and coastlines each tell a story, inviting travelers to witness its cinematic beauty and to feel both humbled and inspired by its sheer scale. And as night fully settles, waves continue their eternal rhythm, whispering a promise that Taiwan's wonders endure, inviting those who visit to explore, marvel, and return, time and time again, to experience the cinematic grandeur of this extraordinary island. Thank you for traveling with us across the wonders of Taiwan. From ancient temples to dramatic coastlines, from bustling cities to peaceful mountains, Taiwan is a treasure waiting to be discovered. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to join us on more journeys around the world. Adventure awaits, and the next wonder is just a click away. Thanks for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed exploring Prague as much as I enjoyed guiding you through it. If you found this travel guide helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more beautiful destinations from around the world. Got a favorite spot in Prague? Drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, safe travels, and see you in the next video.